One of these days I'll get it right. Are we live?
Yeah.
Do we have chat?
I just posted.
How about if I turn it on? We should have it now.
Yeah, it's
Bam,
on.
we have it. Cool. All right, man. Fade. Get rid of the chat. Chris. Fade. Charlie. All right, man. And we're live. We're streaming.
Yeah, we
It's
are.
November 8th. And I'm Chris.
I'm Charlie.
And we are 8-balling. I think I
As
finally got
always,
the
we're 8-balling.
color just right on my end, too.
Yours looks good. I have the ceiling light on this time, so it's kind of...
Oh, yeah.
We'll see.
One day, when things get under control, the media room, Brian has
Never.
branded it the media room, is the table comes tomorrow. Which
So
means
excited.
I'll be ready to start moving stuff. Although I got to get a
Hell
clock.
yeah. And I'll have the antibodies, so we'll be good.
Why? Are you positive?
Well, you need to.
One of us.
I haven't checked yet, but yeah, I'm going to get a test tomorrow. We'll see. My lady friend has it.
Oh, really? Do you have symptoms?
Yes.
Really? How are you feeling?
I actually feel fine. Like, I'm hoping I'm going to get the rapid tomorrow, so I'm hoping it's positive, and then I'll be like, the shit was a breeze. It feels like...
A cold?
It feels like a cold. Yeah, I just have a little bit of, that stuff going on in the old nose and throat area, but
That's
other
so
than that, I'm
bizarre
golden.
that, I know somebody my age and his wife got it, and he had a cold and she felt like she had the flu. Some people get like, nothing, and other people, even younger people, some people it takes them out. It's weird, crazy.
Yeah, and maybe they say that there's all these different kinds, but she said that she feels like it. She said that she was sick for a day or two, and then that was it. But
Huh.
anyway,
Life's
good.
good. Lots going on, man.
And
what a week.
That's what I want to start with. Life is good, even though, even as we're going live right now, there's shit in the news being like, Trump might have some possible whatever. I'm not going to speculate on that. That's not what I want to spend the whole show on. That's what everybody's talking about in the media right now is all that shit. So I'm going to just pretend that Biden won, and I'm sticking to my word by saying that if you go back a few weeks ago, I said, hey, if Biden wins, I'm still going to be happy because I still live in America, and I'm not going to let him take that away from me. And if you do, then you're not doing the right thing. You're not living up to, you're not doing you. And that's
Well, if
messed
you
up.
remember,
Yeah.
you do have to do the log, the correct log. I forget what you were calling it because I don't know if it was last week or the week before.
Predictions and corrections. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you and I both agreed that this didn't really come out to be the math, but it helped. Was I said whoever wins Pennsylvania wins. And you said Trump's
Did
taking
Biden win
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania?
And I said, Biden got called on Pennsylvania. But we agreed whoever won
okay.
Pennsylvania would win. We just didn't agree who'd take it.
Yeah.
And I said Philly's
Well, that
gonna
one's the biggest
gonna
swing
it.
states, 20 votes. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, whatever. Yeah. I mean, so Trump's going to contest it, and it'll take some time. And everybody I've seen or listened to yesterday and today has said that I do want to talk about it for a second because I'm not a Trump fan. And I didn't have a dog in the fight because I didn't vote for either of them. But the country, I think, is going to be the Trump derangement syndrome and just the exhaustion of the guy. Even people who liked him, just paying attention to all of it, I think was exhausting for even fans of his.
That I want to point something out. You notice, those of you who've noticed what I wear on the show sometimes is indicative of my feelings. Today I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt. I don't know if you can tell. This is authentic, yes, from Hawaii, even though they went blue. It's okay. Because it's vacation now. Because if Biden's the president, all that shit goes away. It's because it's at this point it's a vacation and I can relax. And this doesn't mean anything. And my fucking all my Trump whatever. It's finally it's fine now because they got their way. The little fucking we placated the Democrats, but it changes the dynamic, complete 180.
Just
and
so
I can't wait
clear,
to see what that reality is going to look like.
I'm not in your way. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Oh.
Yeah, it's funny. Charlie and I exchanged texts in the middle of the week, and I was like, Trump's going to lose. And I said, well, you know what? The show's going to be better for it. And he said, I forget what you said, but you kind of agreed, and you're like, I guess I'm kind of optimistic.
Probably like I can't fucking wait or something.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, so whatever.
That's the number one thing that I'm excited about.
But what was I going to say? So Trump has said that he's going to exhaust every legal means, and once that's done, he's done. And he did not say I'll concede, but he said he would stop fighting. And you know what? It's part of the process, and I don't begrudge the guy. Here's not big on cliches, but show me somebody who's fine with losing, and I'll show you a loser. So the guy doesn't want to lose. And is he going to contest what he can contest? And that's part of the process. And I do not begrudge him that at all. And I can't stand the guy. But this is part of the process. I mean, Bush Gore, dangling chads. There was a lawsuit about Florida, and that's how they decided that election. So it's part of the process. Right? And that's, I mean, in America, it's not a dictatorial thing, all right? You fucking lose. The press called it. No. There's a system.
Yeah, excuse me? That's what I don't get. But, yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to get that out there. The guy's going through the system, which is within every candidate's rights, and it'll shake out.
Yeah, it'll happen. And there's no point in worrying about it and being, being like, oh my God, Biden's in the lead, Trump's in the lead, Biden's in the lead. You're fucking just scrolling and updating. There's no point in doing that. I'm just going to wait. We'll see. There seems to be some shit going on with some voting software that flipped a couple of Michigan counties or whatever the case is, but I'm not going to.
Even the pundits are saying that if he goes through the process and they find they didn't say worst case, but they find some shenanigans, generally they go both ways and it won't change anything.
Shenanigans, yeah.
I don't know how else to put it. I mean,
yeah, it's shenanigans. Well, I think you just call it voter fraud, right? Or that might even be a problem with the whole thing, is that you're just like, oh, it's shenanigans, like tisk tisk tisk, like.
Listen to this.
Shame on you for interfering in the election.
This is a little morbid, and this would be like a really dicey one to audit. But if you do, so let's set aside mail-in voting, which, was, I didn't even know that was a thing before this, in other states. But so that was a much larger part of this election. But let's set that aside. With any ballot, so absentee ballots, whether they're, the process that I'm familiar with or this mail-in thing, if you vote, but you're not alive on the day of the election, or you die before that, you put your thing in the mailbox and you have a heart attack and drop dead, your vote doesn't count. You have to be alive the day of the election for your vote to count. Isn't that interesting?
And I read a story about that.
Did you know that?
Interesting. I didn't know that, but I just read a story about that was it North Carolina? I forget the state where it was, but it's posted on their website, their Secretary of State website, where it's like this woman. The only reason I remember her name is because it was funny. It's Mrs. Ondick, like spelled Ondick, whatever. So she died October 22nd or something, registered to vote on October 23rd, and then sent in her ballot on November 2nd. So it's like, as a vote for Biden. So it's like, that's shenanigans. And I remember, God, I think everybody in my household received a mail-in ballot except for myself.
Mail-in or
Despite-
absentee?
I think it was mail-in. And I don't remember. I'll even retract that because I don't have the shit to back it up, like the actual pieces of mail. But
So
I know that my sister received something and she lives out of state. So it's like, what the fuck's going on there? Yeah.
So something in the mail came for her related to voting.
Right.
Huh. Interesting.
And it's like, dude, she lives in Washington State. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, but it might be a letter that said, if you're still a Michigan resident, blah, 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 right?
It could have been something like that. And because I'm a law-abiding citizen. Huh?
Did anybody open it?
No, because that's a felony, Chris. Who would do that?
That is true. Unless you had her consent. Hey, lady, we have some mail for you. Do you want us to open it for you? Yes, please tell me what it is. Anyway.
Oh, it says that you're voting Biden. Check. Okay. Anyway, before we get too off track, I wanted to talk about a couple things today, and I know that you said we don't even have to discuss it because it's pretty straightforward. But I want to talk about what the reality of a Biden presidency looks like, you know, and what the coming months look like before he gets sworn in, and how long he's going to live or last in office before Kamala becomes president.
So let me potentially frame it. And so these are encouraging words to me. We'll see if it turns out to be what it turns out to be. So he said, and I didn't watch his entire acceptance speech, I don't think, unless it was like 30 seconds long, but I think I saw some sound bites that were taken out of it. And he said, I want these to be the United States of America. I want to, bring the country back together again. He said, I want to strengthen the backbone, and I kind of want to go into a little analogy on that, but I want to strengthen the backbone of the country, and I want to bring back the middle class. And if those are his three big things, that's a very American centrist, I have absolutely no problem with it agenda. Right? He wants to bring back unity. He wants to strengthen the country, nationally and internationally, and he wants to, bring back the middle class. Nothing wrong with that with me. It's kind of hitting it right down the center of the fairway.
Yeah, and that's all. Here's my issue with that whole thing is because you could say whatever you want to say. It's really going to be determined by your actions, right? So at some point,
that's why I said
the acceptance speech is nice, right?
Right. Here's what he said. We'll see, what it turns out to be. I hope that's the case, though. I hope that's the case. But so I kind of interrupted you. Yes. How long, does he physically survive the term? Does he mentally survive the term? And what else?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on all those three things?
Today I tried to formulate what exactly this number of days before Biden is either, I don't want to say dead. I don't think he's going to die. I think he'll just resign or they'll boot him out. They'll be like, this dude is a fucking mess.
You just made me think of something funny. Are there going to be pools? Are there going to be death pools and or insanity pools? A dead pool.
Well, let's do one on the show.
Or I'd rather do an incompetence pool. I don't like dead pools because they're I don't like them. I hate death.
I know what you mean. It's one. That's why I didn't say die. Right. I said I want.
I'll do an incompetence pool.
Competency pool.
Yeah. Yeah, competency pool. Let's do it, man.
Yeah. All right, here you go. Ape balling with Chris and Charlie. Your Center for the competency pool.
Do we do it in minutes or days or weeks or
Minutes.
seconds?
I want to give him. Yeah, I was thinking today the number of days, and if I'm being smart about it, I'd say if he gets booted out of office, it's come 2 years from now when the Republicans retake. And then they can just do whatever the fuck they want.
But there are a lot of ways it can happen because, who knows? Kamala might be licking her chops. Like,
I think so, and I think that was a gross sound. And I think that the regular liberals or the regular Democrats, Nancy Pelosi's licking her chops too, because she says we can boot Joe whenever we want now, because he's not a real candidate. We have Kamala in there who can be the stuffed suit for us, who actually has a brain, right? And then you can pull the strings there. But I don't know. Is it going to be the Democrats who kick him out or the Republicans? That's really the choice. Or is he just going to, of his own volition, just be like, I'm gone? Well, I don't know his wife's name, but she could even be like, this shit's over too.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if he really becomes unable to govern for cognitive reasons, I think it's going to be kind of universally accepted. I don't think anybody's going to push back if he clearly just can't manage it. And it's funny. I was talking to my brother, and my brother's not real political. But I said to him, and I think I said this to you when we were 8-balling, that I'm sure I said this. I think he is on serious, cognitive drugs.
Yeah,
because
right.
His consistency and his ability to speak, his spontaneity, and what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of an SAT word. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It is just improved
Plasticity.
so much. No, not that. Whatever. I'll think of it. Exactly. Anyway, whatever. I don't know if that hastens the ultimate demise or you can go a long ass time, but who knows?
Part of me, we just said it 5 minutes ago, you want it to be a competency thing, but part of me is like, if the dude just gets a cough, what then? What if that is what happens? Like, what the fuck? That's, I don't know. And I don't want to be like one of those Republicans who's like, how's he going to, or the Democrats when they were like, how's Trump going to go? We hope he's going to die. And I'm going to stop right there and say, no, we don't want anybody to die, right? We don't want that to happen. But it's just kind of fun to predict how his political demise is going to play out. We should do
that'd be interesting. I mean, So what did you call it? Cognition pool?
Competency pool.
Competency pool. I think like in 50 or 100 day increments would be good, right?
I think the over-under should be 800 days.
I think a little over 2 years.
Yeah. So it's that way you get the next election.
Well,
you get the next. Yeah.
Think about how every president has said how much stress there is and how much you age mentally. Like the minute you start. Well, he's been in the Oval Office, so he's got a clue. But if you have all that pressure. Why?
I think ignorance is bliss. I think he doesn't have a clue. I think ignorance is bliss. So if you're, like you said, if you have a clue or don't have a clue, like, does the office really put that much stress on your life? Because you just have a bunch of people just pointing you where to go at some point, and you're just like, this guy is like, yeah, I'm Joe. Like, if that's what you're doing, you're just kind of like a celebrity at that point. You don't really have a job.
Yeah, but one of the things that presidents have said more, if not most, and I haven't kept notes on this, but is the morning briefings, like the shit you hear that just goes down in the world every fucking day, like that alone stresses you out. Because there's a lot of things that go on that we just do not, and probably most people should not hear about.
Yeah. The shit that says, okay, are we gonna drone strike that guy then? Like because of what you hear, right?
Things like that. And,
yeah.
Right. Little skirmishes and just bad stuff. A lot of bad stuff goes on. And people can't be flooded with that every day. They'd fucking freak out.
On top of his son, we haven't even brought up yet. Wait, here's an interesting point.
That's
not on the sun thing.
That's gone. That ain't coming back.
Yeah, not on that point. But here's an interesting thing. Did you? And I don't even remember if we talked about this in the last show, but I talked about it with somebody. Did they even ever bring up Trump's impeachment during the election?
A little bit.
I never
Not
heard
much.
of one word of it. I
Not
literally
much.
never did. And it's because he's doing the same shit that got Trump impeached, or that they claimed would have gotten him impeached. He's actually fucking doing it, right? So, yeah, and there you go. It's they never brought that shit up. And if that goes down that way, they impeach him, that's an easy way out, But
It was brought up by some guys on Fox, and I don't remember who, little bits here and there. There's some serious irony there, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm just saying, if you were a Democrat, being like, what's your number one thing to run against Trump on? He got impeached. The guy literally got impeached, and we're not going to talk about that because it's bad for your campaign. Why would that be? Anyway, shit like that, right? The irony. But I'm just excited. I want to, and before we get too far into this whole thing, I want to change topics here into what do you really think is going to change about your or my daily life?
Let me milk one last point out of this.
Go ahead.
So the competency pool. Let's say he blows the pool up. Nobody wins. Does this guy run for a second office at 81?
I think he said he wasn't going to.
Oh, did he?
And I think there's no way. Yeah. And I think there's no way. Because then Trump could just run again and be like, I told you so. I fucking told you. Or whatever happens.
So he's 74?
Sure
So he'd run at 78?
I don't think he would,
my
though.
God.
I mean, would you?
I don't think he would.
Yeah.
I don't think he would. So
A lot of people talking about Don Jr.
Somebody on either CNN or MSNBC, or no. Who's the Dana or Dana on Fox?
Dana Lash?
No. Dana Perino? Is there Dana Perino? Yeah.
Oh, Judge. No, that's Judge Pirro. I don't
Dana
know her name.
Perino, I think is her name. I kind of like her. She seems to be a straight shooter. She was Bush's press secretary. Anyway, She said that people are saying that Tucker Carlson is like the not dark horse, but I don't know. Could be the guy for the next election on the Republican side.
But that's like, oh God.
Tucker Carlson is a conservative version of of Bill Clinton. The charisma, good-looking guy, got a presence about him. That guy could win an election. He's got a lot of charisma.
He totally could. He has the most watched cable TV show in the history of numbers. I don't know what the fucking stat is, but it's north of 6 million viewers an episode. I would totally vote for that guy, but the thing that bugs me is it's like, God, there's that movie Get Smart with Steve Carell. It's like a funny, whatever, kid movie, I guess, but he's like up for this promotion to field agent from like a CIA analyst, And they're like, I can't promote you. You're too good at what you do. I need you. And they're like, he's like, what? Like, I don't know if Tucker is almost invaluable in his current position.
Well, that would be personal choice. Like, why the fuck would anybody want to run for president? And I've always said it's ego. Like, what am I going to do now? Because
he's even said that on his show before.
Who in their right mind would want that job? If that's, look at Barack Obama. He went from like, he's in his 40s and he had gray hair 2 years in.
Bad genes. I don't know.
It's not unique to him. Anyway.
It's everybody, yeah.
Why would you want that job?
Know.
It's like, I mean, relative to most people who run for president, it's generally, if it's a raise, it's not much. What is it, $500,000 now?
I think
so. It's not like you're doing it for
the.
It's not like you're doing it for the money,
And I'm sure Tucker makes more as it is, right?
I'm sure he does.
Yeah. I don't know why you'd do it. You'd have to have some kind of, and I don't think the people who want to be president, like George Washington, like his acceptance speech or whatever the fuck it was. I forget what it was, but he basically is like, I'm honored and humbled by that you would select me, and like all I ask is that you reimburse me for my expenses, of which I'll keep like a diligent track of, right? So like
really?
He didn't even want a salary, and basically he's doing this as like, wow, I'm the guy you guys want to do it? Jesus, I better do a fucking good job. I don't even think you have the guys who have that kind of American patriotism anymore. They don't really exist in politics, who are like, we want America to be as best as it can be, and I'm the right guy for the job because I know that I can do it the best or whatever. Like, I know Biden doesn't think like that. Does he think that he's the best man for the job of anybody? There's no way.
I bet he thinks he is.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
I bet he thinks I'm a regular guy, and that's exactly who needs to be in this position. Because that's what he's bragged about his whole life, right? I take the train home. I connect with regular people. That's what he's touted about himself as long as he's been in the public eye that I've been aware of. I gotta go back and see him on the Johnny Carson show because I didn't even know he was anybody back then.
They made fun of him for plagiarizing
whatever
a couple of speeches or something. Yeah, whatever. But that was think about it, that long ago.
All right, so I hijacked where you wanted to go. So let's go down your road.
Oh yeah, let's talk about what a Biden presidency looks like. And right now we know two things that it looks like is one, no riots, which is kind of nice. I don't mind that. Two, it looks like, I guess, Oregon, you can buy any drugs you want now. I don't know. I had to look into that, but that was one of those things that
yeah, but that
would have happened indeterminate.
That would happen either way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Now,
we can talk about that as a separate thing. I'd love to talk about that.
Yeah, we can put a pin in that. The thing that I think will really, really change, and we kind of already touched on it at the beginning of the show, but it's the reason I'm wearing my Hawaiian garb, is because I think that it changes the dynamic for Republicans or right-wingers, and it gives you a chance to kind of fight back and have less less of an amount of vitriol towards your belief system, because right now your fucking guy's the president. How people go, oh, thanks Obama, or thanks Trump, like a six-pack costs $48, whatever. Not $48, but gas is $5 a gallon. Thanks Biden. Shit like that. You can get away with a lot more, I think. You have a lot more leeway as a free speaker when the other guy's their guy is the president.
That is very interesting, and I think very true and accurate, and I've never really thought about it like that.
I think you have a lot more leeway, and I'm just looking forward to that socially in terms of anguish and vitriol. Like, I just want to, have some more freedom to express my ideas without having some fucking guy go, that hat is racist. My hat is fucking racist? Really? Hats can't... Guns don't kill people. People kill people. You fucking dipshit. It's like all shit like that. Jesus Christ. That's all I want, is just more of an even platform. What do they call it? The Overton window? that should expand the Overton window, at least in our daily life.
I don't know what the Overton window is. Tell us.
It's the realm of acceptable speech, I think. Like what you can talk about.
Huh.
Without getting... and I could see the reason I could be getting this completely wrong, but I believe it's like...
Just kind of what's
I'm not allowed to talk.
Socially tolerable at the time.
Right. We're like, today I couldn't, and this is an example, folks. Don't take this as a clip. I couldn't be like, we need to eradicate Judaism, Like, that's unacceptable speech. That would be outside of the Overton window.
Got it.
I think. And I could be wrong about that, but double check me, folks,
Cripples are a drain on society. We got to get rid of them.
I don't disagree with that.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be funny if all these news articles start writing about Chris and Charlie 8-Ball and talk about how cripples are drain, and then they're like, oh, this guy's in a what? Wait a second.
Right, you never know. You would never ever know.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, I think it looks like a better day-to-day America because you get to, at least for Republicans, at least in the day-to-day sense that you can kind of express your patriotism and your happiness, your chauvinism, whatever it might be, with a little bit less hatred towards yourself and your group. But maybe that's minor. I don't know.
I definitely think things are settling down already. Like you said, no riots.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Ultimately, Trump is a person. Didn't care for him in terms of his policies. He was okay. With regard to just all the press he got, just fucking exhausting. Exhausting. What are Mika and Joe going to talk about now? What are all these people who literally started their shows with Trump and half to 3/4 of their content was him? What are they going to talk about now?
Nothing.
Seriously.
And I didn't even think about that, but that should have been the first thought. Yeah.
They're going to have to
now?
shift
Look
gears
at
hard
Biden
and fast. Well, they
fuck.
didn't have Trump to talk about, 4 years ago. So
They did. Trump has been a 4-year plus 16-month thing, right? 5 and 5 years, pretty much 5.5 years. But I see what you're saying. So let's say before
but
Trump.
they didn't start. I mean, Morning Joe almost every day starts, and the very first thing is, what's wrong with Trump? Literally. Like, that is
His
how they
fucking hair.
start the show. Right. He tans too aggressively because you can see the little white things where he puts those glasses or whatever the hell they are.
Glasses is correct.
Who stays so orange when you tan? The guy doesn't get tan. He just stays orange.
He just loves Florida. He just loves Florida and everything about it. So orange is obviously the right, the right skin tone. I have no idea.
Yeah. Bizarre. Whatever.
Fuck, what was I gonna say?
We were talking about anyway, people having to shift gears really quickly on their talk shows. Even the news.
It'll be a couple of months, but yeah.
I don't know. How long is this? The suits that, some of his suits may not even turn into suits. The court may just say, we're not even going to entertain this lawsuit. But so the recounts that are mandatory and the recounts that he is allowed to petition and whatever else he can do. What's that that's going to take a few weeks, probably. Call it a month.
Yeah.
So come, middle of December, what now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when it goes away, it's going to go away pretty quickly. Because in his own way, he's going to give some sort of concession. There's going to be all right, I'm done fighting. However he communicates that. You
I
know,
left a pin in the chair behind the Resolute desk.
Here's a
And good
question.
luck, Joe.
Oh, I have the 8-ball question. We can ask it now or later.
Ask it now.
Okay. If and when Trump is ultimately convinced, if not already, but when it's official and he's communicated it in every way, or in whatever way he chooses, will he continue to incessantly tweet as president through the very end of his term?
First of all, waste of a question. I could have told you the answer to that, but I will ask it anyway. Let's see what the 8-ball has to say.
I don't know, man. The guy might quiet down.
It says don't count on it, but
Okay.
it also said Trump would most likely win. So
What says don't count on him?
don't count on it is a non-answer. Yeah.
Can't
I
ask
think
again.
it's going to be
sorry.
till his last. I can't ask again, but I think it's going to be till his last fucking day and beyond that even.
You know, he could, right. He
He'll be
could go
tweeting-
on that and just be a total critic after that. Just be obsessed.
No. Your question specifically related to him tweeting as president.
No, I know.
I think
I know.
that even after he's out of office, I think that he will continue to tweet as president of the United States of America in his own mind. And he'll just be tweeting out being like, China, yada, 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 this is ridiculous. And like people will still listen to it like that. I fucking kid you not, because this thing that he cultivated, also, wasn't this the greatest voter turnout of any election ever? Yeah. 144 million.
In raw numbers, yes. In terms of the percentage of the electorate or whatever the right word is, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I didn't check that either.
But raw numbers, yes.
144 mil.
Yep.
Yeah. That's pretty wild. But he'll be tweeting.
While
till I
we're
fucking
talking
die.
about that, I don't want to forget that because there's not really, maybe not another show. This could be another show, but I just want to bring this up. So, initial data suggests that voters between, and I didn't know how they broke it up. Apparently now I do. Between 18 and 29 came out in the same number they came out in the last election, which wasn't very strong, which says to me, there's such total irony in there. So either, like, why didn't you vote? Are you just a bunch of blowhard, woke people who just show up for the occasional protest and burn it up on the internet, but when the rubber hits the road, you don't do jack fucking shit? Because that's what it sounds like to me. You didn't even fucking vote, but you're so vocal about how the world's wrong, and all you got to do is fill out a ballot and stick it in the mail or show up someplace and invest 30 to 90 or 120 minutes in a process? How sad.
Yeah. Or you just
How
have
sad
to
and ironic.
wait for your dead grandma's ballot to come in, and then you fill out the thing for Joe Biden, and you send that in, and it's the same thing.
Or the fact is that vocal minority is such an incredible minority that we need to just stop listening.
To the 18 and 29?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're idiots. I'm an idiot.
If all,
I'm even
if all the wokes, what I'm saying is, if all the wokesters indeed voted, and that didn't change the numbers,
Yeah.
then the vocal
Shut the fuck
minority
up.
is indeed the vocal extreme minority. And he
Shut
ain't
the fuck
speaking,
up.
and he ain't speaking for most people. So just dial it back.
Here's what it
please.
is.
We've had enough.
You're not getting news. Sorry, you're not. No one is reporting on. Charlie and Chris think taxes are reasonable. You know, or like Charlie and Chris think taxes are A-okay and right where they should be. You're only going to get news reporting and vocalization when it's a radical idea, which comes from those fringe cultures like 18 through 29. a lot of that shit that gets blown up and turns into a movement, which turns into the norm as progressivism works in reality, comes from a fringe. So a lot of that shit, yeah, I think that those people are just the vocal, like you said, minority, because that's how those ideas come to light. Otherwise, it's like I said, you're like, Border Collie or Golden Retriever voted best dog in America. It's like, people are like, cool. Is this news? What the fuck? Like, I want to know about.
Yeah. Right. And I've raged about this like a whole bunch of times. Like the 300 days in a row that planes don't crash are not news.
Right.
But the minute you have like a ball of flames, right? Flames, smoke, woo.
Right. It's the exact same principle just applied to political ideology. But yeah, it's right. And that's where news comes from. Yeah. So whatever. I think, those people shut the fuck up. And if you think that people like those ideas where people who are 18 or 16-year-olds should be able to vote, fuck you and shut up, and you don't know shit about the world, and I'm 23, you're probably older than that, shut your fucking mouth. 18 to 29 is the worst group of people, and it will always be, because they have power and no brains, but what do you do about it? As soon as they become 30, it's like now your opinion is relevant? No, I don't know. It sucks, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, I don't
Stupidest
know
and most impressionable.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the most convinced they're right.
Right. Like me. I'm never wrong. God damn it. 8 Ball, am I ever wrong? Let's see if the 8 Ball has to
Come
say.
on,
Am I ever
now.
wrong? It says yes, definitely. Okay, so 8 Ball knows that I'm wrong frequently. All right. So I missed that one. But so the 8 Ball's 2 for 2 today, I guess, or 1 for 2. Oh well. Yeah, I don't know. I get so riled up about that shit because I've been arguing about that since high school with my peers, quote unquote peers, age-wise, not intellectually. But shut the fuck up. You don't know anything, and neither do I. So at least I know that I don't know anything. It's ridiculous. And you're not going to vote. I don't know.
Well, that was. I guess I'm still not sure if I find that disappointing or ironically satisfying. Don't know. It's sad.
It's all posturing. Optics, right? It's all just having this car and the coolest belief system and the most black friends or whatever the fuck it is, right? Whatever the thing is at the time. And nobody knows if you didn't vote. They even try to make it a big thing on, like social media this year, and still even like a small, like check it out, I voted. Yeah. And I've saved all of my I voted things. I think I have 5 stickers now, and I'm only 23.
Really?
It's only 5 years. Yeah.
That's cool.
Always vote no for the bond. Yeah, shit like that, but or the millage. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Sorry, I know we kind of beat that one to death, but
no,
I'm just very
I don't think
passionate
so.
about it.
So more of what the Biden presidency could look like.
I think a great way to judge it, and just for like your Joe Sixpack type guy, under the Trump presidency, there was a time where gas was, I'm pretty sure, less than $1.47 a gallon at like your regular gas station, not at Costco.
During when?
Trump.
If so, it has to have been. Well, I don't know. Less than $1.47. That's really cheap.
I paid $1.47. I have a picture of it on my phone for the receipt, but that's a great way to just gauge how the company's doing, how the planet is doing. But if you're cultivating energy independence underneath one administration, and then you try to outlaw that same source of energy into the next administration, gas is gonna fucking go up. I'm sorry, but if you try to use solar, which right now makes up like 1% of all, I think it's electricity generation or net electricity output.
I think it's solar, hydroelectric, and something else combined are just under 2%.
No, hydroelectric is like a huge portion of it. I think it's like
It is?
25%. Yeah.
No.
Coal is 27% in last. Yeah.
Hydroelectric's 25%?
Well, I'm talking about net electric output. So how you turn shit into electricity. Not about just overall energy.
Okay.
So maybe I'm wrong about that, but like tell you what I can do.
No, because I'm dialing back my thoughts. Maybe. No, I thought it was solar, wind, and hydroelectric combined. I thought this goes to the Obama presidency. Something was 1%, and I'm pretty sure it was wind, at least wind and solar. Now, Obama never said, he never quantified how much, let's just say it's solar and wind, made up of the total output for energy. But he said, during my first term, or during my term, however he phrased it, we are going to double our output of solar and wind energy. And I'm like, so you're going to go from 1% to 2%? And like declare like, victory, problem solved? Because why don't you tell people it's fucking 1%, and we went from 1% to 2%.
Did you know that under Obama, and this is a real story, by the way. This is a real news story. I'm saying it as a joke now, but the news actually reported with this verbiage. The number of cases of Ebola in the United States doubled. They doubled under Obama. It went from 1 to 2.
20. Okay.
No. 1 to 2. Literally 1 to 2. That was the story. It was the number of Ebola cases doubles. And that shit is real. But if you're the
So somebody
politician,
said
you can do
that
that.
to vilify the guy?
No, not under Obama, but I'm adding that right now. I'm just saying, like,
Okay.
if it's a point of his administration. So I think the story was number of Ebola cases doubles, right? And it's like literally 1 to 2. Go fuck yourself, because that's what Malice would call factual but not truthful. Because it did double, but double sounds fucking crazy. And then it's like 2 to 4 or whatever. Fuck
Right.
you. Yeah.
Right. 1% to
Looks
2%.
like right now.
Wow, did we
Yeah,
make
natural
a difference?
gas. How can we make a difference? Sorry, this is fossil fuels made up 63% of all electricity output in
Okay.
2019.
Yeah, I thought coal was like 40.
Nuclear was 20%. Huh?
I thought coal was like 40.
Natural gas is 38% and coal is 24%. This is according
Wow.
to the EIA.
Really?
Yeah. So
Natural gas.
yeah,
That's
coal's
high.
23. That's huge. Fracking, baby. And then nuclear is 19.6, and then renewables, everything combined, is 17%.
That's higher than I would have thought.
And hydropower has a negative return. I don't fucking understand how that works, but whatever. Anyway.
Exactly.
1%. Double.
We're going to double it. Wow. We'll be cruising then.
Fucking prick. Words matter, people. Words matter. And I promise you, he didn't say, yeah, that's why he didn't say, you know what? Under my presidency, we're going to get up to 2% total usage of energy is going to be from solar. They're going to be like, wow, 2%? Geez. And they'll be like, that's doubling.
Right.
No one would say that. But when you say it the other way around, it's, yeah.
Right. Or
bastards.
say we're going to decrease
By half.
right. No, by 1%. We're
Oh,
going to
yeah,
decrease
it by a percentage.
right. Whatever.
It's like if
Yep.
that happened a lot
matter.
with when you talk about white supremacy, like the number of white supremacist attacks has skyrocketed up to 3x's more since whatever, and you're like, oh, it's instead of 2, it's 6 or whatever. Fuck you, tripled. I don't know. Yeah, shit like that. You'll still see that, but now what I'm hoping for is that in this Biden administration, you get, I should say Harris administration, you end up with the media actually going against like either themselves or the Democrats. What the fuck is this?
Well, how does that happen?
Never mind. Because they're gonna have to report on something eventually, and I don't think Democrats are so horrible as a whole that they wouldn't like to see what their own party is doing poorly at or badly at. So, and blood always sells more than the flowers. So you're like, as long as you can be like, he's fucking up at this or whatever. I don't know. That might be good. Or the media is lying about. Yeah.
You are
So we'll
right.
see.
I mean, at the end of the day, why CNN and Fox and MSNBC exist is to generate ad revenue. So I don't see them eating their own. I don't. But that's a very good point. What do you report on? It's been very easy, since Trump took office, and like you said a little before, certainly the election and when when the field started narrowing and it started getting interesting. Yeah, it was very clear, Fox is going to report on pro-Trump and CNN and MSNBC are, and oh my God, some of these shows, I mean, that sometimes 90% of their content is just this guy. Like, oh my God.
And what was it in the first 2 years? Like, it must have been at least 90, like you said. Like, what else are you going to report on?
The last 6 months, I mean, it's just been crazy. So, I mean, they talk about Trunch derangement syndrome. It's the guy partly, but it's also the obsession of the news and whatever. But not to be redundant, but yeah, they got to sell ads. How are they going to do it? That will be interesting. Who knows? They got to talk about something.
How do you get viewers?
And if
cat stuck in a tree, rescued by.
Right, and if you talk about how nice, Joe's so nice. That does not, to your point and to my point, that does not sell ad revenue. It's not flames.
Yeah.
Right, and it's not. I forget how you were framing it, but it's not bad shit. Right.
Yeah.
Bad man.
Blood and flowers, but
fire.
Yeah, bad man. Yeah. I think for a little while they'll hang on to how Trump fucked up the country so much and how it's hard to do this thing in government because Trump was such a fucking terrible person, and that'll be for a while. But then it'll be like, people will be like, okay, I get it, but what? Like, do something about it,
Yeah, I mean, for a while it's going to be coronavirus, and how he's going to do it differently, Yeah, sure, well, that's still huge.
What's a while? Like a week?
No, months. I mean, until
you're right.
Go
you're right.
through winter,
that's fair.
right? Because this is going to continue to go up. December, January, maybe February, and it's going to be a big deal. And when you say the word death or dying or people tune into that
surge.
shit. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, that's not that long. Right? Less than a year. A year from now, what are we talking about? Who knows?
And I don't trust the media not to fabricate something, to make something up. If it's tough to fucking sell papers or, let's just call it eyes at this point, to sell eyes, like, you just make some shit up. Like, there's no journalist who during peacetime is like content with that. Another day of happiness in America. Everyone is fine and the weather is 73 degrees and sunny. Tune in next week for your daily down date. But you're like, what do you got to find something. You got to come up with some shit. You're not going to leave the country to find it either. I don't know.
Start a war.
Yeah, which they did a couple of times, I think. I'm pretty sure the media is the number one advocate of war in the United States, other than Doug Mattis. Just kidding. I don't know his stance, but
makes for good news.
Really does.
Death, flames, all kinds of exciting
Don't they call
stuff.
that yellow journalism?
I don't know. Is it?
with the whole sinking of the Lusitania thing. They're like, a Mexican submarine blew up the Lusitania, or was that fucking
Mexican submarine.
how public education failed me so dearly? I have no idea. But it was either German mine or a fucking Mexican mine blew up, and they were like, oh, they killed all these people in
yeah,
Lusitania, but it was actually
yeah.
a powder keg exploded, and the journalists just started this fucking war to like, because it's sexier when there's a conflict involved.
I
don't
remember
know.
something about that. Yes, my mind fails me as well.
Frequently.
So, pantsuits, man, pantsuits. You remember
What
when
about pantsuits?
Kamala?
Oh,
She just her blouse. She was wearing this like ivory pantsuit with kind of a off-white silk blouse. I guarantee you it was not inexpensive. Just where I'm going with this is the hypocrisy
Yeah.
of all this shit, man. I forgot to. I wanted to know her net worth. I forgot to look it up. What's her husband do? Are they well off?
I have no
They
idea. I
gotta
think
be.
he's like a doctor or something. I bet you I can look it up in under 12 seconds. Let's see.
And I didn't hear what she said, but I saw Gretchen Whitmer on television today, and
Just says over $6 million.
that's not that much for, I guess, what I would have expected. Huh. Celebrity net
Who's
worth.
her husband? I don't know what her husband does.
Do you know where she went to law school?
Yeah,
got her on
it was once
Wikipedia
some
there.
Ivy League place. That's it.
Did she? I thought maybe she was Stanford since she's a California girl. Or Berkeley.
Oh, she did
Come
go to
on.
UCB.
Okay. So she's credentialed. Oh, yeah. You know what? She has... Her mom's Indian and her dad... I think her mom's a doctor. Her dad's black, right?
Yeah. Donald Harris. Donald. Anyway, this isn't... I can't focus while I'm looking shit up. Hastings College of the Law. I have no idea. Whatever. Anyway. That's the next president of the United States. I shit you not. I promise you.
Well, one way...
I almost want to ask the 8-ball again, but...
Or he makes it through his term and she runs.
I don't see that happening I don't see that to be as likely of a...
Why wouldn't she? It would be too in vogue to not have her be the Democratic nominee. If she doesn't fall out of favor, if it's a decent 4 years, why not? Why wouldn't it make sense?
Here's the only reason that I don't see that. Because if he's not running, that means there's another primary. Then she'd have to go up against a Tulsi Gabbard type situation again where they're like, you put all these fucking black people in prison and then laughed about doing the same thing that you jailed them for on a radio show. Like it was no big deal. Like, yeah, I've smoked some pot in my day. And it's like thousands of blacks jailed from Kamala Harris for the exact same It's like, fuck you. You're a horrible, evil person. Like, that's not, And then that whole thing comes out again. I think that you can't avoid that if you're running a primary on your...
That will be such old news at that point that it'll be irrelevant. I mean, think about how...
I refuse to let it be. How about that?
Right, because 4 years from now, we're going to be... our audience is going to be 1 million a show.
Joe Rogan can suck our cock 4 years from now.
Oh, come on now with that language.
I'm joking, Joe. Calm down.
No, not the Joe thing.
Cool your pants. What? Oh, about sucking. Sorry. Foul language. I'll chill out. But forgive me, ladies at home.
It's not the language, it's the visual. Stop. Please stop.
You're the one who brought it up. I'm preaching no imagery here, folks.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting few years. I'm just excited to kind of live it. Like I'm happy.
Yeah, change is good, man.
Now I'm not the bad guy anymore. Yeah.
There you go. Shift gears on you for 2 seconds. So Rogan's got this big deal on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody was talking about it on their podcast, I forget. And that's really interesting. Because that guy's so much about doing his own thing. Wouldn't it seem like, was it $20 or $30 million gig? That they would have to have an awful, I don't know, in his contract, does it say, does he get to say I do whatever the hell I want? He did have Alex Jones on. And there were people, I guess.
I'm sure that it is. I think he even came out and said that. He said, hey, it's not going to change. It's not going to be censored. And I get $100 million. Why would I say no? Yeah.
Because he's just so content in what he does, or seems to be. At least that's his gig.
Yeah. Alex Jones being on was a bit much for me.
Why?
It was a lot.
I
shouldn't say a bit much for me. He's just like, because Alex is like fucked up, and he's like, Joe, you need a drink. He's like, the problem is that you're not drinking, and he came prepared. I'm not even going to say the guy was wrong, but Joe was just like not having it. Oh, probably, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I listened to that
and
episode.
Joe was just like sober
in the car.
Yeah. It was a good episode. It was great, and it has like 11 million fucking views, which is insane.
Alex Jones is very entertaining. I think he's hilarious.
He's crazy entertaining.
He's like a living, breathing cartoon character.
Yeah, which is how I look at Trump, by the way, and I don't know why you can't see that, but yeah,
Oh, Trump is no doubt a living, breathing cartoon character. Yeah. Absolutely.
Entertaining as fuck.
But Alex Jones isn't president of the United States.
Oh.
So the context in which I process him is, quite different than the guy that I think, represents the country I love. So it's the calculations that are going on in my head when I'm listening to those two guys are very, very different.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess I'll let you have that one. It's just, to me, it's the same thing though, because he's not whatever.
He's just some crazy ass guy with a radio show who too many people take far too seriously.
He's a kook, yeah.
Right?
People take the
people who get offended by, like, why are you offended by this guy? He's just a crazy guy who's fun to listen to. And then if you take him seriously, like, are you smoking crack? This guy's nuts, man.
Riding a horse. Alex Jones. Yeah, Roger Gay.
And I have never listened to him other than when he's been on the Rogan show. I didn't even know who he was before the Joe Rogan show.
I think he's great, and I think they fact check a lot of shit that he said, and that he was mostly right on what he talked about.
On the most recent Joe Rogan show? Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
Did. Which is like, first of all, people who say Alex Jones is like, he's just making shit up. First of all, fuck you. Watch the thing and do your own research next time, because clearly you didn't. But that's what I love the most about him is he says this shit.
The way he talks, like with his raspy voice, he talks so Alex quickly. Jones. He talks kind of so crazy and discombobulated that everything that comes out of his mouth sounds a little insane.
I didn't know shit about this whole Bohemian Grove thing.
I don't remember what that. I don't.
See, it's not even like you even know about it, but it's totally true, and it's this insane scandal, and it's like no one even talks about it, even though he just because he says like Bohemian Grove and all these presidents go there, and he pulls up, he's like, yeah, and Dick Cheney said it was the faggiest thing you could have ever come across, right? And it's like, did Dick Cheney say that, or not Dick Cheney? Dick Nixon, fuck, Richard Nixon, and they pull up the the video or the audio from the Nixon tapes where he says those words exactly. And it's like, what the fuck? How the fuck did I not hear about this? Because it just doesn't get reported on, and you need a guy like that to exist. So it's great, but you're right. It's very cartoony, so people just they're like, no, whatever. Yeah.
But
they don't listen to
people
it.
go crazy about the guy, right? The Spotify people wanted Rogan off the air because he gave Alex Jones a microphone. Who
platform.
cares?
Yeah.
A platform, yeah. Joe Rogan listens
I have
to
a fucking platform.
anybody, right?
Yeah.
Right, left, intellectual, comedian, everybody. That,
Yeah.
right? He's Mr. Curiosity. Long, what's it? Long cast, whatever the fuck it's called.
Cast a wide net.
No. Long form podcast.
Oh. Yeah. A few hours long. Pretty good.
But he has everybody on. He gave Alex Jones a platform. The guy's got a radio show. He's got millions of listeners. Fucking settle down.
Everybody can have a fucking platform these days. That's what I hate so much. Some little kid in Africa can have a platform as long as he has. He doesn't even need this kind of shit. He could just talk into this.
Oh my gosh, I got to tell you something. I've been looking at Twitter a little bit, which that's not healthy. Twitter's crazy, man. Twitter is
so not healthy.
It's not.
Yes.
It's just,
it's
it is a series of rabbit holes. That's all it is.
So is,
Greta Thunberg tweeted about Trump.
No way.
And people just went crazy on it.
What did
man,
she
oh
say?
man. Well, she turned around. Remember when she said something about, I don't know if it was directly about Trump or it was about the climate, but Trump was like, so much anger from such a young girl, chill, Greta, chill. She turned it on its head and said something, and I don't even know what the context was.
How dare you?
Chill, Donald, chill. And people just ate her up. Oh my God. It was 50-1 where people were just like taking her down, like, shut up, you 17-year-old brat.
You fucking idiot.
Right.
Back to my point again about the whole. She has autism, so that gives her a little bit of an advantage on most 18 to 29-year-olds in terms of the intelligence department, but still, she's not even 18 yet. This person should not have a. I can't even say that because I believe in free speech,
it was Twitter, and surprisingly, again, probably 50-1. I bet, I was just scanning through.
They call that getting ratioed. Yeah.
And really? Yeah. She did not get a lot of support at all. And then the people who supported her. But nobody
burned down any buildings.
Everyone who supported her, I looked at the responses to their tweet, and then they got taken down. Like, she's 17. What's she doing? Like, we're supposed to listen to a 17-year-old foreign girl about our president? And then those people would get taken down.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Twitter, the only place where a 17-year-old girl with a disability will be called a stupid bitch. It'll be okay.
It was brutal, man, but it was amusing.
That's so terrible. It's a horrible, horrible place. And it also, it's unhealthy because of
Twitter
the way that your brain reacts to it, but it's just unhealthy in a social aspect as well, socialite too.
Yeah.
All that shit's bad news, man. There's this great quote, and I think we might call the show on this, but this great Joe Rogan quote where he says, humans, man, we're just these monkeys and we got these thumbs and we just went crazy. I know I butchered it, but that's like the fucking best way to put it. We got these thumbs and we just went crazy.
Opposable thumbs, man. They'll do you in every time.
Yeah.
All right, I'm good. We can end it on opposable thumbs. It's a good point and a fair point. They'll do you in.
I'm trying to improve this message. Yeah.
That
Take a vacation.
Funny.
Enjoy life.
Yes. And we got 4 more years of something. So.
The best salesmen don't care if the interest rates go up or down, they just care that they go somewhere. And we win somewhere.
And on that, show us your thumbs, because mine don't work. Give us some thumb action.
That's what she said.
I want to see him move. Say
Can't do
goodbye
it
to
with my
Charlie.
Bye.
Say goodbye to Chris.
Said I want to see him move.
Later, people.
Peace out.
Thanks for hanging. Peace out.